Hello everyone, welcome to another podcast. My name's Ben Lister. Welcome to the Archives, the 2019 edition, episode 6 of the 2019 Archives podcast from 2019 with Ben Lister. How you all doing? My interview with Peter Levey, here we go. Legendary Peter Levey, episode 6, here we go. Hello everyone, it's time for another podcast. We have had a lot of big guests. Sean McAllister, Christian Goy, Chris Heath, Santino Roberts. But this week we are joined by a legend of Holland, the TV presenter from Lucknow, BBC One. Please give it up for Mr. Peter Levey. Hello Peter, welcome.
Hello, and thank you very much indeed. And I'm honoured to be amongst such a list of notables like that. So my pleasure.
Thanks for joining us.
Have you got difficult questions for me?
Shall we begin?
Yeah, you can begin. Don't ask me difficult questions.
How did you get into journalism and presenting?
Well, when I was a teenager, I wanted to work in radio, and I kept sending tapes off to new radio stations as they opened up in commercial radio, and eventually I got a job in commercial radio, and I went into radio. I was in radio for many years, and I was very happy in radio, and then I moved to BBC Radio, and one day they were short of somebody to read the news on the TV, and they sent a message around saying, would I have a go at this? And first of all, I said no, because I wasn't interested in that, and I was terrified. Yeah. But anyway, I did, because I wore a tie. That was the thing. I was on the radio, but I wore a tie. Yeah. So I had a go at it and enjoyed it, and they liked me doing it. And I've been doing it ever since.
Here you are, 17 years later, is it? Because you started in 2002.
Well, I started in Hull in 2002, but I started on Look North in Leeds in 1987. So it's actually 32 years, really.
Greats like Harry Gresham, Krista Ackroyd.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And Harry is still going strong.
Yeah.
Very strong, apparently.
Yeah. What are the differences between presenting TV and radio?
Everything is magnified in TV, so every single thing is that much bigger and greater. With radio, it's a lot more relaxed, and you can get away with a lot more. And you can paint a picture with your voice on the radio and try and sum up what you're trying to explain and all the rest of it. With TV, it's very much you delivering it and letting the pictures carry the story and take the story. And also the other thing is time. With radio, if you've got an interview, you might have loads of time because they've got loads of time to fill, so there's no pressure. But with TV, we're very short of time because the programme's only half an hour and there's lots to get in, so the interview might only be 2 or 3 minutes long. And
I like the style you present in, because I like the banter between yourself and Mr. Paul Hudson.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. You've got to have a laugh, haven't you, with all the heavy news of the day. But yeah, that's part of it, and it's been going a lot of years. That's very enjoyable. But also, if we have somebody that's in the news that we need to quiz, then those questions are a lot harder and tougher and everything.
Yeah. How do you find the stories for Look North?
Well, it's not me, although I sometimes will have an idea. But we've got a team of very talented journalists, producers, and researchers, and also people write in as well and say, why aren't you doing this story, or what about this story? So they come from lots of sources, and since there's been social media, they can come via social media as well. So there are lots of different ways, but chiefly from our own producers and researchers and journalists.
How do you prepare for an interview?
Well, the thing you need to do is you need to have the facts about what the story is, the facts of the guests that you've got, what they're going to say. Yeah. Because invariably in my job, you're interviewing somebody who's got a message to, either something they've got to defend or a message they want to get across. So you have to do your research from the opposite point of view. So if you're Mr. Conservative, say, coming in, you're going to have your agenda, and I have to take the opposite view. So you're playing devil's advocate. Yeah. So always do your research, always anticipate what the guest is going to say. Now, if it's in something like this, it's not controversial, so you don't have to worry about it. But if I was say, the leader of the council, and you might have the leader of the council on one of your podcasts one day, and he's telling you, this is good about Hull, that's good about Hull, this is going well, that's going well. You need to counter that with some questions for him or her, questioning that.
Yeah. And
how... I can see you're fired up by it now, aren't you? You're fired up, aren't you? Ready to go?
We've actually got an MP coming in.
Have you?
Emma Hardy.
Emma Hardy. Well, let me tell you. Shall I give you some tips?
Yeah.
Emma Hardy is one of the nicest people that you could meet. She's a really, really lovely lady, and she will give you a really good interview. She's really good. You know, she won't be expecting tough questions from you. So have a little think about a fast ball and give her a difficult question.
Yeah.
And when she says, "Oh, my word, that's a difficult question, Ben," you can say, "Peter Levey told me to ask you a difficult question." Only joking. But she's a lovely lady. You'll have a great interview with her. Great interview.
Do you prefer presenting in the studio or outside broadcasts?
I love both. I mean, obviously, the studio is what I do much more than outside. Outside is a different. It's a whole different ball game. It's completely different because you're usually outside because you're there for a specific reason. Usually, it's a news story. The last time I was out was because of the floods last week. Yeah. I was out 2 or 3 weeks before that when it was announced about the job losses at British Steel in Scunthorpe. So you're usually there for a reason. It's usually serious, and you're having to talk to people about that story. I think you are more at home in the studio because you're there more of the time. But being outside is great, and being able to meet people outside is great as well.
Who are some of your all-time favourite TV and radio presenters?
Oh, my word, that's a difficult question. That's a really difficult question. Terry Wogan was a great hero because Terry Wogan was a master of radio and of TV, and he was great. Jeremy Vine is extremely clever because, again, and the reason I like Jeremy Vine is because he can do TV and does it brilliantly well and so relaxed, but also does radio brilliantly well as well. And you find some people can do radio and not TV, some can do TV and not radio. But Jeremy Vine is a genius and is able to do both and makes it look very, very easy. And he has a very hard day, so I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, because he presents 2 shows on.
Yes, he does.
Day.
Yes, he does.
One at 9:15.
9:15. He does TV, and then he goes straight to radio and does radio. Yeah. Now, you imagine how hard that is to do that 5 days a week. So he's obviously very fit, very knowledgeable, and he's very talented. Very talented.
He's a bit like a modern day Terry Wogan.
He is, and I think that's one of the reasons why I like him so much because he is very clever. Yeah, very clever. Yeah. Who do you like then?
My personal favourite is Sir Terry, but I also one of my favourite TV presenters was Alistair Stewart.
Oh, Alistair Stewart, yeah.
Who used to present Police Camera Action because I used to think he used to do a good job in Police Camera Action as well as. Yeah.
Well, he's very popular, Alistair Stewart. He's one of these people that I've never actually met, so I don't know him, but he's very popular. Yeah. Very popular. And Hugh Edwards for the BBC is an extremely talented broadcaster and also a really, really nice guy in real life. Really nice guy. And you have to put him on your list.
And your colleague Simon McCoy as well.
Simon McCoy is a very funny man. He's also a very clever man. Yeah. I didn't know Simon until about 3 years ago, until we started working together. But he's very very funny, very clever. And one of the highlights of my working week is when I do something with Simon. We played tennis together last year at Wimbledon as well, which was a bit of fun. Yeah. Difficult questions these, aren't they? Difficult questions you're throwing at me.
What skills and qualities do you need to be a TV presenter?
I think you need to be enthusiastic. I think you need to be contained in so much as, when people tell you you're wonderful, don't go up there. And when something goes wrong and it don't go so well, don't go down there, because they even each other out, because you'll have some days where it does go wrong or things are not as good. So just take it as it comes. And also, going back to the question a few minutes ago, do your research, be covered, be relaxed. Are you relaxed doing this?
Yes, I'm actually.
You're relaxing now, aren't you?
You're relaxing. A bit nervous because because you're on the other side of the microphone, because you're quite a hero of mine.
Ah, well, don't be nervous. Well, you haven't been nervous. You wouldn't be able to tell, but you're really relaxing into it now, aren't you?
And all my friends and my grandparents watch your TV show every evening.
Oh, that's nice.
And my friends watch your TV show every evening.
Oh well, you'll have to play them this, won't you?
Yeah.
And, let them hear it.
I've never actually had the pleasure of meeting you before.
Oh well, that's very kind. Well, it's my pleasure.
And
my pleasure.
It's a shame we've never actually met before.
Yeah, well, you have now, and you've got an interview. Not many people get this, and with firing difficult questions as well. So,
what advice would you give someone hoping to get into radio and TV presenting?
I think don't give up. Be persistent. If you're going to do news, do your studies, study your journalism, learn about your journalism and all that. If you're doing more light entertainment, just be yourself, be different. Don't try copying anybody else. Be individual and be your own person. Yeah. So don't model yourself on somebody else. Try and be individual and different.
Individual and different.
Yeah.
And yourself and independent.
Yeah. So that nobody can say, oh well, he Ben's trying to be Terry Wogan or Ben's trying to be somebody else. Be yourself, and then you'll shine as different.
And also I did watch one of my other heroes. One of my other heroes was Sir Michael Parkinson as well. Because he's a legend in his own right. And I watched his interview with Piers Morgan the other week, and it was very interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you a story. When I was very young, I was only in my mid to late 20s, and I had to interview Michael Parkinson. Well, at the time, Michael Parkinson was God. He was on BBC One every Saturday night with his chat show. But he'd written a book about cricket. Well, straight away, I was at a disadvantage because I don't really know much about sport. And I started by... he sat down opposite me as close as you are, and I had to interview him. I was in my 20s. I was nervous. And I said, this all feels a bit wrong, doesn't it, really, me asking you questions? Because normally we see him asking guests questions with his chat show. And he said, one thing you'll find about interviewing an interviewer is they won't say yes or no or possibly or whatever, which is what real people sometimes can do, because they will feel for you that if you just say, oh, if you say to me, who do you like? And I just say Terry Wogan and then shut up. That's answered your question, but it's not very helpful for you for an interview. And Michael Parkinson said, usually if you interview an interviewer, they'll give you a good interview because they've been there, they know what it's like. So I always think that was a really good tip. And whenever I've done interviews, like, I've done quite a few interviews for hospital radio and things like that, always give good long answers. They can always cut you out. You can always cut me out. But you can't elongate something, and there's nothing worse than a question being longer than an answer. I'll give you one more tip as well, shall I, for an interview. Don't ask a question that has got an answer of yes or no, because that's an open-ended question.
Yeah, you need
so it needs to be why. Why do you like? Don't ask a question that can be answered with just yes, I agree, or no, I don't think so.
Peter Levey, thank you for joining us, and that's a wrap.
Pleasure. Nice to see you, Ben. Thank you very much indeed.
Could do it. You could come up to our venue next time.
You never know.
Because we'd love to have you. You're more than
welcome.
Well,
I will pop in when things are slightly less busy here. I will be up and to see you.
You could come for Series 2 if we get
Series 2.
Series 2 of the BL podcast. Thank you for watching, and that is a wrap. That was my interview with Peter Levey. That's it from me uploading tonight. I'll try and upload 2 more tomorrow. But for now, don't forget to like, subscribe, dislike. I'll upload a load more tomorrow. I'll be pumping out lots of content this week. So yeah, I just put a behind the scenes on my YouTube as well. So yeah, loads coming up. Maybe even another Radio Legends episode later in the week. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, that's it from me. Thanks very much for watching. Do subscribe if you can. Do like if you can. Do comment if you can. I'd appreciate that. If you don't like it, just be honest with me. And yeah, thanks very much for watching. See you next time, and that's a wrap.